Papa Africa asks, of the students in a class, 60% are geniuses, 70% love chocolate, and 25% fall into neither group. Determine the probability that a randomly selected student is a genius or a chocolate lover but not both. So first off, before we tackle this problem, there are some prerequisites that you have to know. And there's only one prerequisite for this question. It's the two-way Venn diagram and knowing how to draw a two-way Venn diagram. So let's quickly draw that. Okay, this is my two-way Venn diagram. And there are 4 unique sections in this two-way Venn diagram. This section outside the circles A and B. This section, which is the intersection of A and B. This section, which is just A but not B. And this section, which is B but not A. So the intersection of A and B is just A and B. This is A and not B. This is, as you guessed, not A and B. And this is not A and not B. So if we can fill out this Venn diagram with numbers, we could find the solution to this problem. It says that 60% are geniuses, 70% love chocolates, and 25% fall into neither group. So let's replace A with geniuses and B with love chocolate. Because this is proportions, we know that all of this area is 100% of all the people, right? So how do we represent that mathematically? Well, we can just write G and not C plus G and C plus C and G plus C and not G is equal to 100%. 60% are geniuses. That means we have to somehow represent this red area. It doesn't matter whether they like chocolate or they don't like chocolate. In this case, they're still geniuses in this area. So how do we represent that? How do we represent this red area? Well, we can just do C and G, the geniuses that love chocolate, plus the geniuses that don't love chocolate, is equal to 60%. How about for the people that love chocolate? People that love chocolate is in this area, and they can either be geniuses or not geniuses. So the area is equal to the people that love chocolate and are a genius, and the people that love chocolate but are not geniuses. And we can represent it like this. And it says here that 25% fall into neither group. And that is the definition of this. Not a genius, nor a chocolate lover. Let's focus on the first equation here. We can replace this by 25%. And here we can use this equation here. C and G plus C and not G is equal to 70%. And here we have C and G and C and not G. And that means G and not C is equal to 5%. So this area right here, that's equal to 5%. We also know this area, that is equal to 25%. So now we can apply the same logic and we can solve it from here. But now, since we have the 5%, let's try to solve it visually. So we know that G and not C is 5%, right? But let's try to explain why that is intuitively. It says here that 25% fall into neither group. So this must mean this is 75%. And here it says that 70% love chocolates. So in this area, this is 70%, which leaves us with 5%. And this can be expressed algebraically. We can also apply the same logic, right? So if 60% are geniuses, then this area, that's 60%, right? 60%, this is 25%. And we know that this whole Venn diagram without the non-chocolate lovers and non-geniuses, this is 75% because it has to add up to 100%. So we know that this is 15%. And if you don't believe me, you can continue using this system of equations to solve for C and G. So we know this is 15%. What is 5 plus 15 plus 25 plus C and G? Well, that has to be 100%. So this is 55%. Now let's go back to the question and see what it's asking. Determine the probability that a randomly selected student is a genius or a chocolate lover but not both. So it's this red area plus this pink area, and that is 20%. So your final answer is 20%.